Hello everyone and welcome to this video on averages, mixtures and alligations. In this video we'll see what are averages, then we'll understand what is the assume average method for calculating the average. Then we'll see two conditions under which the average of a given set of number changes and see how to calculate the averages. We'll understand the concept of weighted average, we'll derive the equation of alligation and also derive a standard equation which is to be used in mixtures of liquid. So let us first start with averages. So what is an average? Average is basically the measure of a central tendency of a given set of values. The formula for average is sum of all the values divided by the total number of entries, which is denoted by n. So if I give you a set of numbers and ask you to calculate the average, say 11, 14, 19 and 16. So what is the average of this set? So for that you will have to add up all these values and divide it by the total number of entries. In this case the total number of entries, which is n, is equal to 4 and the sum will be addition of all these. So this will be 25 plus 35, which will be 60. So this sum is 60. So the average will be given by sum divided by the total number of entries, which is 60 by 4. So the average comes out to be 15. Now what is the significance of this average? Average, as I said, represents the central tendency of the given set. That means each of these individual values can be replaced by a common number, which is the average of the set. So this set we can write it as 15, 15, 15 and 15. Let us now see how to calculate average using assume average method. In this case the numbers were quite simple, hence you were easily able to find the sum and divide it by the total number of entries. But if this data set is somewhat like this, 105, 90, 85, 125, 95 and 112. Now as you can see the numbers are comparatively bigger, hence adding them will take a bit of time. So what we can do is we can assume some average and then we can easily find the average of this given set. So by using the method of assume average, the formula is given by average is equal to assume average plus sum of deviations divided by the total number of entries. Now what is deviation first of all? Say we have assumed some average A. The difference between each of these entries and the assumed average is called as deviation. So for each of these entries we will calculate the deviation and then we'll add them. So this from there we'll get the sum of deviations. So let us now assume one average. Now while assuming the average, one point to be taken care of is that the value that you are assuming should be such that it is very close to the actual average. So how do you get the judgment? You just have to look at the values and just get an idea what will be the average, and you can and then you can easily assume an average. So by looking at these values, as you can see, one value is 125, which is the biggest value, and the smallest value is 85, and rest of all the values are close to 100. So we can assume this average to be 100. You can take any value, but if you make a good assumption, your calculation will be reduced. So this assume average in this case is 100. Now we'll calculate the deviations. So this first entry is 5 more. The second value is 10 less. So we'll write minus 10, 15 less. Then this is 25 more. So plus 25. Then this will be minus 5 and plus 12. Now if we add all these deviations, we'll get the sum of deviations. So this will be minus 5, minus 5, minus 15, that will be minus 20. Minus 20 plus 25 will be plus 5. Then plus 5 and minus 5 will cancel out. We'll be left with 12. So sum of deviations in this case will be 12. The total number of entries are 3 plus 3, which is 6. So this will be 12 by 6. So from here we'll get the average of the given set. It will be 6 ones are 6 twos are. So the average will come out to be 102. As you can see, by using the assume average method, you can easily find the average without having to add up all these numbers. So this will help you in saving a lot of time. Let us now see the two conditions under which the average of a given set of numbers can change. Let us take the first set of numbers that we have taken, that was 11, 14, 19 and 16. Now in this set, if I add one more number, the initial average that we have found out, it was 15. If I add one more number, I don't know its value, then let's say the average increases to 20. So now if you want to find the value of this number that we have added, how we will proceed? First of all, we'll find the original sum, which was average into number of entries. So initial average was 15 and number of entries were 4. So the original sum will be 60. Then we'll find the final sum. Since the average in the second case is 20 and the total number of entries will become 5 as we are adding one more number, so the sum will be 20 into 5, which will be 100. Now if you take the difference of these two sums, we'll get the value of the fifth entry. So this will be equal to 100 minus 60, which will be 40. So the next value that we are adding is 40. This was one way. Now the other way, using the concept of averages. As we know, this average is the measure of central tendency. Hence we can replace each of these individual values by 15. So these are 15, each of these individual value. Now for the average to become equal to 20, the new value that we are going to add should also be equal to 20 at least. Then only it will be able to maintain the average. Apart from that, it should also be carrying some weight so that it makes these values also to be equal to 20. Since each of these individual values are equal to 15, to make them 20, it should carry 5 more for each of these individual values. Since there are 4 values, it should carry an additional weight of 5 into 4. So the value of the new number that we are adding will be equal to the new average plus 5 into 4, which will be 20 plus 20, it will be equal to 40. So mathematically we can write this in formula as new value equal to, that is new average plus the change in average. So what is the change in average? It has become 20 from 15. So change in average multiplied by initial number of entries, because this new number that is going to come will have to make the original set also to be equal to 20, which is the new average. So we will multiply it with the original number of numbers which were there in the set. So by using this formula, we can find the new value. New value is new average plus change in average, which has increased by 5, into initial number of numbers in the set, which will be 4. So we are getting the answer as 40. So instead of finding the two sums and then taking the difference between the two, we can directly use this concept, which will be helpful when the numbers are bigger in magnitude. Now let us see the second condition under which the average of a given set will change. Let us consider this set of numbers: 11, 14, 19, 16 and 40. Now due to some mistake, this number is wrongly copied as 40. Its original value or the correct value is 20. Since we have found out the average of this set 11, 14, 19, 16 and 40 was 20. But due to this mistake, the average is going to change. So how do we calculate this new average or the correct average? So for that, the long way is to find the original sum. Then from that sum, we'll subtract this wrong value and add this correct value, and then find the average by dividing it with the total number of entries. So let's see how it is to be done. So first of all, we'll find the original sum, which will be average into number of entries. Since the number of entries are 5, so the original sum will be 20 into 5, which is 100. So from this, we'll subtract the incorrect value and add the correct value, which will be plus 20. So this will be 100 minus 40, 60 plus 20, which will be 80. So this is your correct sum. To find the average, we have to divide it by the number of entries, which are 5 in this case. So this will be 5 ones are 5, 6 are. So this is your correct average, 16. So this is one way of doing it. The other way we can do this is by using this concept, that is change in average into number of entries is equal to change in values. So the change in value is new value minus the original value, which is 20 minus 40, which will be minus 20, divided by the number of entries. Number of entries are 5. So this will give you the change in average, A2 minus A1, which will come out to be minus 4. You have the change in average, you have the initial average, you can find the new average. So A2 will be equal to minus 4 plus A1. A1 is 20, it will be minus 4 plus 20, which is 16. As you can see, we are getting the same answer. So by this method, you can solve the problem quite easily. You don't have to calculate what is the sum, then subtract the original value, then initial value. So by using this method, you can save a lot of time. Let us now solve few problems based on this concept. Consider this question. The average weight of a class of 10 students is 40 kg. So there are 10 students, their average weight is 40 kg. If the weight of the teacher is also added, the average weight of the class becomes 45 kg. Find the weight of the teacher. So this is based on the first concept where the average is changing. So we can use directly the formula to get the new value. Here the new value will represent the weight of the teacher, which will be equal to new average. I'm just writing down the formula, plus change in average into initial number of entries. So this new value, which will be weight of the teacher, will be new average. The new average is 45 plus change in average, which will be final average minus the initial average. So final average is 45, initial average is 40. So 45 minus 40 will be equal to 5 into initial number of entries, which was 10. So this will be 45 plus 50, 95 kg. So weight of the teacher is 95 kg. As you can see, by using this formula, we can solve the problems very quickly without having to find what is the sum and then doing all that lengthy calculation. Let us see one more example. While entering the marks of 10 students in a class, so number of students are 10. The teacher mistakenly updated the marks of one of the students as 60 instead of 40. If the average obtained by the teacher was 50, find the correct average marks of the class. So this is based on the second concept where the average changes due to a wrong entry. So again, we'll use directly that formula, that is change in average multiplied by the total number of entries will be equal to change in values. So we have to find the correct average. We have to find what is the value of A2. The total number of students is 10. So value of n is 10. The teacher mistakenly updated the marks of one student as 60 instead of 40. So the final value is 40, which is the correct value, and initial value, which is the wrong value, is 60. If the average obtained by the teacher was 50, so the incorrect average was 50. So let's solve this thing. So this will be A2 minus 50 will be equal to 40 minus 60, that will be minus 20. Minus 20 divided by 10. This will be equal to minus 2. So from here we will get A2, which is the correct average, will be minus 2 plus 50, which will be equal to 48. So again, by using this formula, you can solve these type of problems very easily. Let us now understand the concept of weighted average. Weighted average is used when there are two or more than two groups mixed together, having some individual averages. The formula for weighted average is given by AW is equal to N1A1 plus N2A2 plus N3A3 and so on. This will go on till as many groups that you have. Suppose if you have n groups, so this will go on to AN divided by the sum of all the weights of each of the groups. So this will be till NN. So let us take one example and understand how to apply this formula. Let's consider this question. There are three different types of rice, A, B, C. So here we have three groups. 10 kg of type A costs 100 rupees. So the weight of the first group is 10 and the cost of the first group, that is the average cost of the first group, is 100. 20 kg of type B costs 150. So the weight of the second group is 20 kg and cost is 150. Likewise, 50 kg of type C cost rupees 170. So the weightage of the third group is 50 and cost is 170. We have been asked to find the average cost per kg of all the three types if they are mixed together. So we will apply this formula of average, weighted average, which will be equal to weight of the first group into the average of the first group, which is 100 into 10 plus weight of the second group into average, which will be 20 into 50. Then third group, it is 50 into 70, 170. Divided by 10 plus 20 plus 50. So we will calculate this. This is equal to 1000 plus 3000 plus 8500, and this whole thing will be divided by 80. This will come out to be 4000 plus 8500, which will be 12500 divided by 80. So this will cancel out. We have 8 ones are 8 ones are, then 8 fives is 40, we have 5 carry, 8 six are 48, we have 2 left, then 8 twos is 16, 4 left, 8 fives is 40. So we are getting the answer as 156.25. So the average cost of the mixture will be equal to 156.25 rupees per kg. So in this way you can use the formula for weighted average and calculate your average. Let us now understand the concept of alligation. Alligation is basically an advanced technique for calculating the weighted average. The alligation equation is applicable only when two groups are mixed together. Whereas the formula for weighted average you can use for n groups, but alligation equation you can only use for two groups. For two groups, the formula for weighted average is given by N1A1 plus N2A2 the whole upon N1 plus N2, where N1 and N2 are the weights of group 1 and group 2 respectively. So from this we will derive the formula for alligation. For that we will multiply this denominator to the left hand side. So we will get AW into N1 plus N2, which will be equal to N1A1 plus N2A2. We will take all the N1 terms on one side and all the N2 terms on the other side. So by opening this bracket we will get AW into N1, and we will take this N1 on the left hand side. So this will become N1A1, and this will be equal to N2A2 minus AW N2. We'll take it on the right hand side. So we will get AW into N2. Now from this we'll take N1 common, from this we'll take N2 common. So we'll get N1 into AW minus A1 will be equal to N2 into A2 minus AW. From here we'll get N1 upon N2 is equal to A2 minus AW upon AW minus A1. So this equation that we have arrived at is known as the alligation equation. We will use this alligation equation only for finding the weights n1 by n2 or the average of the group A2 or A1. For finding the weighted average of the group, we will directly use the formula for weighted average, because here we don't have to simplify anything, we can directly substitute the values and get the answer. In case if we use this formula, there is a lot of complications. You'll have to multiply this thing and then simplify it, and then you can finally arrive at the value for AW. So instead of using this formula for AW, we'll use this formula. For rest of the values, if we want to find n1 by n2 or a1, A2, we can use this alligation equation. Let us now solve few problems based on this concept. Take this example. 10 kg of sugar costing rupees 30 per kg is mixed with 15 kg of sugar costing rupees 40 per kg. Find the average cost of the mixture. So here we have two groups. One is of 10 kg and the other is of 15 kg, and they are being mixed together. And we have been asked to find the average cost of the mixture. So here we will directly use the formula for weighted average, that is AW is equals to A1N1 plus A2N2 upon N1 plus N2. So substituting the values, A1 is 30 and the weight is 10. So we'll have 30 into 10 plus A2 is 40 and the corresponding weight is 15. So we have 40 into 15 divided by 10 plus 15. So the average cost of the mixture will be given by 300 plus 600 divided by 25, which will be 900 divided by 25. 25 ones are 3 is 75, 15, which will be 6. So average cost of this mixture will be rupees 36 per kg. Let us take one more example. 20 kg of flour costing rupees 100 per kg is mixed with another type of flour costing rupees 150 per kg. The resulting mixture costs rupees 140 per kg. Find how many kg of second type of flour was mixed. So here we have been given the average of the first group, the weight of the first group, then average of the second group, but the weight is missing. We need to find what is N2 here. And the average of the mixture is given, that is AW is given. So here we will use the alligation equation, which is N1 by N2, which is equal to A2 minus AW upon AW minus A1. So N1 is 20, N2 we need A2 is 150 minus AW, which is 140, the whole upon 140 minus 100. So this will be 10 by 40. So from here we will get N2. N2 will be equal to 20 into 40 upon 10, which will be equal to 80 kg. So this is how we can use the alligation equation for finding N2. Let's take one last example based on this concept. Two types of salts are mixed in the ratio 3:5. So this 3:5 is nothing but your N1 by N2. Is 3 upon 5. The resulting mixture is costing 80 rupees. This is your average weight of the group. If the cost of first type is rupees 60, so this is your A1, find the cost of the second type. You need to find what is A2. So again we will use directly the alligation equation, which is N1 by N2, which is equal to A2 minus AW upon AW minus A1. So N1 by N2 is 3 by 5. A2 we need to find out. AW is given to us, which is 80 upon 80 minus 60. So this will be equal to A2 minus 80 the whole upon 20. So 5 ones are 5 fours are. So from here we will get A2 minus 80 will be equal to 12. So the average cost of the second group will be 92 rupees per kg. Let us now understand the concept of mixtures in liquid. So here we have a container of capacity T units, which is completely filled with two liquids of type A and type B. The volume of the first liquid in the container is TA and that of the second liquid is TB. Now if X units of this mixture is removed and replaced by equal quantity of liquid B, and this process is repeated n times, the quantity of liquid A left in the container is given by this formula. La is equal to Ta, which is the initial quantity of liquid A in the container, into 1 minus x by T. X is the quantity that you are removing and T is the total capacity. So here x by T can also be called as the percentage of mixture that you have removed. Percentage mixture removed. So we can use either the quantity X or we can directly refer it to as the percentage of mixture removed. So from this formula we will get the quantity of liquid A left in the container after this operation of removing certain quantity and replacing it with equal quantity of the second liquid. So if we have the quantity of first liquid left in the container and we know the total capacity, from that if we subtract the quantity of first liquid in the container, we will get the quantity of second liquid in the container. Now let us see how do we arrive at this formula. The total capacity of the container is T units and the quantity of liquid A in the container initially is Ta. Now from this mixture of A and B, from this mixture of two liquids A and B, we are removing X unit, or in other words we are removing X by T percentage of the mixture. Let us call this as Y. So we are removing Y percentage of the mixture. So since the total quantity of liquid A initially is Ta, from this we are removing Y percentage of the total mixture, hence we are removing Y percentage of the liquid A as well. So the quantity of liquid A left in the container will be given by initial quantity minus the quantity which is removed. So this will be Y percentage. This Y percentage is nothing but X by T, where X is the quantity that you are removing and T is the total capacity of the container. So quantity left will be equal to, we can take Ta common, it will be 1 minus X by T. Now this is when you have removed X unit and replaced it by equal quantity of the second liquid. This is when you have performed the operation once. If you repeat this operation of removing X unit of liquid from the container and replacing it with equal amount of second liquid, then the quantity of liquid A left in the container will be the initial quantity, which is this one now, minus the quantity which has been removed. So this will be Ta into 1 minus X by T minus the quantity which has been removed, which will be initial quantity multiplied by the percentage of the liquid which has been removed. So percentage of liquid can be written as X by T. So from this we can take this entire thing common, Ta into 1 minus X by T. So we will get liquid left in the container as Ta into 1 minus X by T, which is common. Then inside the bracket we will have 1 minus X by T, which we can write it as Ta into 1 minus X by T the whole square. Now if you notice the trend, when this operation was performed once, the power of this bracket was 1. When this operation is performed twice, the power of this bracket is square. So if this operation is performed n times, the quantity of liquid A left in the container will be given by initial quantity into 1 minus the quantity that you are removing, X by T, the whole raised to n. Remember, X by T is also your percentage of the liquid that has been removed, which is Y. So by using this formula, let us see how can we solve problems based on mixtures of liquid. Let us consider this example. A container of capacity 500 liter is completely filled with wine. If 10% of this wine is replaced by water and the process is repeated again, find the quantity of wine left in the container. So now there is a container which is completely filled with only one liquid. So this is the total capacity of the container, and let's say if wine is our first liquid, so this total capacity and the quantity of wine contained in the container are equal, which is equal to 500 liters. if 10% of this wine is removed. So this is basically your x by t, which will be equal to 0.1. This is given in percentage, we can write it in fraction. 10% of wine is replaced by water. We are removing 10% of this mixture and adding 10% water, equal quantity of water. And the process is repeated again. So the value of n is 2. We have been asked to find the quantity of wine left in the container. So we have been asked to find La. So by using that formula, La will be equal to Ta into 1 minus x by t the whole raised to n. Ta is 500 into 1 minus x by t is 0.1 the whole raised to 2, which we can write it as 500 into 0.9 square. 0.9 can be written as 9 by 10 the whole square. So this will become 5 into 81, which will be 405. So quantity of wine left in the container will be 405 liters. Let us take one more example. A container of 200 liter capacity consists of milk and water in the ratio 4:1. If 20% of this mixture is replaced by water and this process is repeated again, find the ratio of milk and water in the final mixture. So now we have a container of capacity 200 liters. So this is the total capacity T, which is 200. It consists of milk and water in the ratio 4:1. So if we take milk as our first liquid, so Ta will be equal to 4 by 5 of total capacity, because milk and water are mixed in the ratio 4:1. So total quantity of milk will be 4/5 of 200, which will be 160 liters, and the remaining will be water. So second liquid, which is water, will be 40 liters. If 20% of this mixture is replaced by water and this process is repeated once again, find the ratio of milk and water in the final mixture. So the value of n is 2. This process is repeated once again. So the process is conducted twice. Here we have 20% of the mixture. So x by t will be equal to 20 by 100, which will be 1 by 5 in fraction form. This is percentage, we have converted into fraction form. So now we'll apply the same formula. Quantity of liquid A left in the container will be given by initial quantity of A into 1 minus x by t the whole raised to n. So the initial quantity of A is 160 into 1 minus x by t, which is 1 minus 1 by 5 the whole square. So this will be 160 into 4 by 5 the whole square. So from here we'll get 160 into 16 by 25. What we have been asked to find is the ratio of milk and water in the final mixture. So the quantity of milk left in the container will be equal to 25 ones are 6 point, so 10 is left, 6.4. If we multiply this, 16 fours are is 64, 6 carry 96, 102. So the quantity of milk left in the container is 102.4 liter, and the remaining will be water. So LB will be equal to total capacity minus quantity of A. So this will come out to be 97.6. We have been asked to find the ratio of milk and water in the final mixture. So we have been basically asked to find what is the ratio of La upon Lb. We have the value of La, which is 102.4. We can write it as 1024 upon Lb, which is 97.6. This can be written as 976. So now all we have to do is divide this. So let's first divide it by 8. 8 ones are 8, then 8 twos are 16, 8 is just 64. Ones are 2s are 16, then 2s are again. So this is 128 upon 122. It can be further reduced to 64 by 61. So the ratio of milk and water in the final mixture is 64 by 61. So this is how you can solve problems based on mixtures of liquid using this formula. So this is all about this lecture. In the next video, we'll solve more problems based on these concepts. Thank you.